Hey everyone, it's Emma here with another episode in our Know Thy Network series. Today we're talking about something super important, knowing where your valuable data hangs out. Trust me, this is where it gets real interesting for any cybersecurity enthusiast or pro out there. So, what does it mean to secure a network? It's all about knowing where your precious data is. But here's the thing, data doesn't just sit in one place anymore. It can end up in the weirdest spots. We're not just talking about your main servers. We're looking at the desktops of big bosses, the hard drives of IT folks, or even in unintentional clouds like Dropbox or OneDrive. Let's break this down. Everything our organization does revolves around the data it has. We've been mapping out our network, focusing on what's critical, the assets, the people, the processes. Now we're zeroing in on where our critical data actually is. In the old days, you just check your main internal systems. But now, it's like a scavenger hunt. Your sensitive data could be anywhere. We start by looking where it's supposed to be, but we've got to be detectives and find where else it might have wandered off to. Think of it like a treasure hunt, but instead of gold, you're looking for spreadsheets, emails, or databases. Finding all these hidden spots for data isn't easy. It can sometimes feel like chasing a ghost. But it's crucial. Once we know where our data is, we run into another set of challenges. How do we keep it safe? Protecting data isn't new to us in the security game. But there's this ironic twist. The most critical data often lives on systems we can't afford to disrupt. Think about it. If a server is so vital that you can't even turn it off for updates, how do you secure it? That's the irony. The places we need to secure most might be the hardest to touch. But don't despair. This doesn't mean we're stuck. It means we've got to be smart about how we secure things without messing up productivity. Security shouldn't be about security for security's sake. That's a path to failure. It's about making sure our operations run securely, not just securely. This isn't meant to bum you out. It's knowledge, power, and preparation. Understanding our limits is the first step to overcoming them. And we'll dive into how we can do that in future episodes, exploring what modern cybersecurity defense looks like and how we can articulate it. And here's one last twist. We haven't even touched on the cloud yet. Data isn't just on our internal networks. It's out there in the cloud, on services that aren't even under our direct control. That's a whole other can of worms we'll open later, but it's important to mention now because it's part of the puzzle. Now let's talk about some practical steps. One key approach is data classification. You need to know what's sensitive and what's not. This isn't just about tagging files, it's about creating policies that dictate how data should be handled, stored, and accessed based on its importance. We also need to think about data lifecycle management. From creation to disposal, every step of a data's life needs to be secure. How do we ensure data is deleted when it's no longer needed? How do we manage data as it moves from local storage to the cloud and back? Then there's encryption. Encrypting data at rest and in transit is like adding a lock to your treasure box. But remember, a lock is only as good as the key. Managing those keys, ensuring they're secure, and that only the right people have access to them is a whole lesson in itself. Let's not forget about user behavior. People are often the weakest link in security. Training employees to recognize phishing, to use secure methods for sharing data, and understanding the consequences of data leaks can mitigate many risks. It's not just about tech, it's about culture. Another aspect is monitoring. You need to watch where data goes, who accesses it, and when. Anomalies in data access patterns can be early warnings of a security breach. It's like being a detective in your own organization, always on the lookout for unusual activity. And what about when data breaches do happen? We need incident response plans. Knowing what to do when the worst happens can save your organization from long-term damage. Quick response, containment, and recovery are vital, and all of this starts with knowing where your data is. But let's dive deeper into this data scavenger hunt. How do you start? Well, one way is by conducting regular audits. This isn't just about checking if your data is where it should be. It's about ensuring it's not where it shouldn't be. Audits help you spot unauthorized devices, rogue software, or even personal cloud accounts being used for company data. Now let's talk about shadow IT. This is when employees use unapproved tech solutions for work. It might seem harmless, but it can lead to data sprawl, where sensitive information ends up in places it shouldn't. Finding and addressing shadow IT is like playing whack-a-mole, but it's essential for data security. Another angle to consider is data loss prevention, DLP. DLP tools can monitor data movement, blocking or alerting when sensitive data is about to leave your network in an unauthorized manner. Whether it's through email, USB drives, or cloud uploads, DLP can help keep your data from walking out the door. We also need to address the issue of data residency. Where your data lives matters, especially with different countries having different laws about data protection. Are you ensuring compliance with GDPR, CCPA, or other regulations? Knowing where your data resides can affect how you manage it and what security measures you must implement. Speaking of regulations, let's not forget about compliance. It's not just about avoiding fines, it's about building trust with your clients or users. Compliance with industry standards can often lead to better security practices overall. What about remote work? With more people working from home, data security has to extend beyond the office walls. How do you ensure that home networks, personal devices, and remote access points are secure? This is a new frontier in data security, making sure the work from anywhere policy doesn't become a leak from anywhere reality. Now let's get into the fun part, the human factor. No matter how good your tech is, people can mess it up. Social engineering attacks like phishing are designed to trick people into giving away sensitive information or access. Training and awareness programs are not just nice-to-haves, they're must-haves. We also need to talk about data backup and recovery. If your data is compromised, how do you get back to business quickly? Regular backups, tested recovery procedures, and having an off-site or cloud backup can mean the difference between a minor hiccup and a major disaster. And let's not forget about the physical security of data. Yes, we've moved a lot to the cloud, but there's still physical media, servers, and devices to consider. Physical access controls, surveillance, and environmental controls, like fire suppression systems, are part of securing data in the real world. Lastly, we need to keep up with evolving threats. Cybercriminals are always innovating, so we must too. Staying updated on new vulnerabilities, attack vectors, and security trends is part of the job. It's not just about defending what we have now, it's about anticipating what threats might come next. So, if you're as hooked on this cybersecurity journey as I am, make sure you stick around for more. I've got heaps more insights coming your way. Whether you're a pro or just starting, we're in this together, breaking down the walls of cybersecurity one episode at a time. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for more exciting cyber adventures. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and stay secure, my friends.